Today, we're going to talk about menopause in a different way. I don't want to highlight all the problems or the struggles of menopause and this journey that, if you live long enough as a woman, you will absolutely go through. Instead, today, I really want to I'll share a few points in my own life in this menopausal journey, but looking at menopause as a place of transition and renewal, metamorphosis, and kind of like the arrival of a butterfly, right? I feel like we've been a caterpillar for the first half of our lives, and now's the time for us to really shine. So if you're new to this channel, I'm Dr. Lori Marbus. I'm a board-certified family and lifestyle medicine physician, and I'm on a metamorphosis myself. And if you are so inclined, I would love for you to subscribe and would love to welcome you to this community. So let's talk about, as I was walking this morning, I have mindful walks every morning. It really came to me what I've been trying to do in all sorts of areas, right? In medicine, trying to see patients in a different light, provide them different ways of healing outside of medications, which is necessary sometimes. But I've really been struggling how to wrap my head around the next journey, right? So I feel in my own life, and I'll kind of share with you how this kind of evolved. I've been eating a whole food plant-based diet for well over 12 years and have helped thousands of patients, other people, you were my patients, transform their own lives and health with this wonderful whole food plant-based diet, which I absolutely believe is the foundation and a driving force in your physical health, mental, all these things. But what happened to me about 9 months ago, so I'm 53, I'll be 54 in October, as I had been training, I was exercising, I was spot on with my diet. Man, I had run a half marathon with my daughter in Boston last November, and it coincided with the onset of these really severe menopausal symptoms. And I had definitely knew I was in perimenopause. My periods would go, 2 months, very scant, and then come back. Minor hot flashes. I told them that internal combustion was flipped on. Understanding that was what I was going through. But there was a part of me that was like, man, why isn't my diet taking care of this, right? I am living everything I'm preaching. I'm eating well. My diet's right on. My cholesterol's never been an issue. I take my B12 and algae omegas and my vitamin D, and I'm eating enough protein. I mean, I was doing everything right. But then it came to a screeching halt. And it's really interesting. Sometimes you have to be shaken into a new reality and understand that you had to go through a certain belief system or a certain, like, oh, I'm protected in some way because I eat this whole food plant-based diet, nothing negative is going to happen to me. And some people go through menopause, and yes, they eat a plant-based diet and do beautifully. And I'm not saying that shouldn't be the norm, but for me, it wasn't. And so I've taken it to heart that, well, Lori, of course, there's going to be other people who could learn from your story, because I've been really good at telling other people, oh, you're going through this suffering and this challenge, to share your story with others, to inspire someone else. Well, the dial has now dialed me, and I picked up the phone and I'm listening. So I hope you find this helpful. Some of the symptoms that I've had were the hot flashes, the 3 a.m. waking up with night sweats, terrible joint discomfort, cholesterol going up, LDL above 100 for the first time in my entire life, my thyroid going wonky, and just not feeling right. I just wasn't well. And so I really started paying attention to what's going on in my body and understood there was a huge evolution in my spiritual journey as well. And I'm sorry if that offends some people, but I really do believe we're spiritual beings living a human life, and some amazing things have transformed in my own life in the last 8 or 9 months, coinciding along with this menopause. So I feel like this is my message to you. And I will be continue to obviously share the plant-based message and menopausal message and trying to hit home. But I really feel like this is kind of the beginning of me letting you share my new path. I get really enthusiastic and excited about the opportunity to share with you this. And I just feel it's meant to be. And so I will share this message. And if this message is not resonating with you, I totally appreciate the time that we did spend together. But if it is resonating with you, thank you and welcome. And I hope I'm here to help. And so that's where we're at and why I'm telling this message. So I'm just going to kind of bring up my notes here. So first of all, menopause is often perceived as that challenging phase, right? It's always the negative, like, oh, why is it doing this to us? Why am I suffering? You get physical discomfort, emotional upheaval, but this isn't, like I said, the natural transition, right? It can be seen as a powerful transformation and one that encompasses profound physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially, right? So if we turn around, instead of fighting menopause and saying, why are you here? Why don't we turn to it and say, welcome it with open arms and saying, what is the message that I need to learn from this experience? What am I seeing here? And because I honestly feel that is what has happened to me and why I had such an abrupt menopausal experience, is because there were messages that I needed to learn. And I'm embracing that. And I'm hoping that I can share that with you in my journey and what I'm hoping that will help you see your own journey and how you can embrace it as well. And so, so I'm going to explore a few of these different things, physically, spiritually, mentally, socially, all the things that I think that I've learned, and maybe I'm hoping that you can maybe glean something from. But I'm just here to change the conversation and kind of put this in a new light, right? First of all, of course, we have this physical metamorphosis. So which got my attention. Most of these noticeable changes are driven during menopause are physical, right? Because we have this decline in estrogen and progesterone, and the hormonal shifts bring around all sorts of symptoms. Like, this is just the body's natural evolution. And I think this is what this means. When you think about this, what is the metamorphosis and how can we take this message in a positive light? One would be, if we think about the physical adaptation, so hot flashes, night sweats, and sleep disturbances are common, yet they highlight your body's ability to be resilient, right? And adaptive, right? How capable are these bodies? These bodies, if you're a mother, brought forth a baby. If you're a woman and growing and all the things your body's been able to do, right? They walk with you in your journey in this life, right? What an incredible thing we have been given, this gift. And just recognizing this as a part of this natural process can really just appreciate the greater appreciation that your body has an ability to navigate these significant transitions. And sometimes you need some help, and that's okay too. There's a piece of that too that I'll get to on that side of things. But also just menopause really prompts you to pay attention to your health because you're forced to, right? That period can bring an opportunity to adopt healthier lifestyles, focusing on your nutrition, your exercise, getting your regular medical checkups, and really just foster long-term well-being. So much of this time before menopause was spent in caring for others and sacrificing your health. Well, suddenly menopause is like, wake up. It is time to pay attention, and we're done being everybody's whatever they needed. It's time for you to look inward and take care of yourself, right? Emotionally, physically. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. It's what we're meant to do, because if we take care of ourselves, we can show up for others in such a deeper level. And so that's the physical piece. That's how I'm choosing to interpret the internal combustion system coming on. Next is the mental metamorphosis. Mental metamorphosis. That is a mouthful for some reason. Menopause can really trigger a range of emotions, right? So we have anxiety, we have irritability, to a sense of loss and confusion, like, what is going on in this body that I've inhabited for the first half of my life? But it really represents a time for opportunity for mental clarity, growth. I mean, there's so much here that we can grasp. Kind of like the body's physical resilience. Let's think about the emotional resilience, right? So the emotional fluctuations during menopause can build resilience. We're teaching us to manage stress, right, and emotional upheaval more effectively. The resilience can enhance your mental strength and your coping abilities, right? So I think about women who are going through this menopausal transition and they raise families and how brilliant and wonderful they are. And then they go through this and this part of life. And I'm just so in awe and in such wonder. It's just so amazing, the emotional things that women go through. And I think beforehand, so many generations before us, it was silent suffering, right? They'd go to their doctor and it's like, we can't help you. That's just a natural part of life. That don't talk about that. That's just the way it's supposed to be. No more of that. No more. No more. So, but in our own mental journey, we can grasp this like, this is a time for me to grow emotionally and mentally. And so, yeah, that's how I'm choosing to see this. And I've absolutely felt that in my life in the last 9 months. One, it's also this time of self-reflection and growth, right? So it encourages that deeper self-reflection, and women may find themselves reassessing their goals, right? Their values, their priorities, leading to personal growth and kind of that renewed sense of purpose, right? So maybe their previous goal was to fit into a bikini and look like the 25-year-old self. No more. You can absolutely be beautiful in the body that you have. This body has scars and spots and stretch marks and a little bit more jiggle than it did 10 years ago. And that's okay, because you know what? It's a beautiful body and I'm here to inhabit it and I love it and nobody else needs to. And so, yeah, be thankful for every curve and every scar and everything that you have, ladies, because it means that you lived a life. And so, yes, and so that was an opportunity. I've had amazing self-reflection and growth and having real honest talks with myself and where I want to be and who I want to be and who I want to show up in this world as. And yeah, so next is spiritual metamorphosis. And so spiritually, menopause can be, for me, it's been a profound insight and transformation. Really, it's a time to explore your inner selves and find that deeper purpose, right? I think there's an inner wisdom that we've been neglecting. When you have cessation of the reproductive cycle, you can see this as a transition to a different kind of fertility, ladies. And that's the one of wisdom and one of insight. So let me repeat that. You have a new fertility, and that is one of wisdom and one of insight. And you absolutely earned it. And that is your power, and flaunt it. Some of my most favorite people are older women who just shine the brightest lights. And I'm just so thankful that they're there. And so, many times we'll find that we have this heightened sense of spiritual awareness and deeper connections to our inner divine selves. And I know I have. And one piece of that is mindfulness and meditation. So those practices can be very beneficial. Like I've mentioned, I now make an absolute dedication every single morning to walk for a mindful walk, right? Spend that time, honing in on my own journey and sense of self and setting intentions for the day. So I would invite you to find a practice and a time of where you can be set quiet in time, right? So with the quietness comes revelation and inspiration and a quieting of that negative talk, a time where you don't have to worry about everything else you need to get done in the day, but just allowing space, right? Like we know that when we clear clutter in our physical space, that we also have some clearing of the clutter in our mind. It's the same idea here, but I would encourage you to do that. Next is that social metamorphosis, right? So these are opportunities to redefine relationships, right? So changes in mood and energy levels might change your social dynamics, and however it can lead to more meaningful and authentic relationships, right? So many women prioritize connections that feel truly supportive and fulfilling. And so I'd encourage you to check that out as well and speak to that, looking for community and support, finding other women that are going through this. And let's start talking about menopause in a different light. Trust me, I never thought I would be at this place in my life but boy, it's been fabulous. It's something you had to go through, but it's been wonderful. And next, I think for myself, I just wanted to share this piece is really finding the power of being humility and understanding, right? Because it's a really humbling experience, especially when you think you're doing all the right things and things still change, right? That you still have joint pain and you have hot flashes and you have all these things that are occurring. And I'm trying to be the model of health, and menopause just throws you that curveball. And it was a very humbling moment and experience. And I am totally open for it. I accept that with open arms, because outside of that comes, I'm embracing vulnerability, right? Just really acknowledging that challenges of menopause can really help me understand that I need to be vulnerable and I can ask for help. And and you can accept that with grace. But it just provides more empathy and compassion for others in their journey and what they're going through. And just realize that you have inner strength. You have more strength than you realize. And I just want you to really understand that strength lies not in resisting change, but in adapting and embracing it. So the more we fight something, the stronger it's going to get. So you turn to it and ask it, what am I supposed to learn here? And I hope I can provide a little insight on what that menopause transition can be for you. And maybe we all learn how we can metamorphosis into something else than just someone who's struggling and a victim of this phase of life and being frustrated by it. So I hope that was helpful. If you are so inclined, check out drmarvis.com and join our newsletter. I'd love to see you there. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone maybe would encourage them. But thanks as always for being here. I hope it empowers your journey as it has my own. And I'm sending you joy, love, peace, and healing as always, because we all need more of that in our world. And and have a wonderful and blessed day, everyone. And thanks for spending time with me.